Hello guys, welcome to my channel for new battle report. I hope you're doing well. So we are second round of ETC, day 1, playing against Denmark. So yeah, surprised to face them after we lost to Poland, because Denmark is a solid country. And I'm facing PJ in a mirror Ogre. So quite interesting. We played once together online before, so it was funny to see each other in real life now, and playing Ogre against Ogre is not something that I do very often, so I was eager to see how it goes. So my list, you know it, this is PJ's list. So he was playing double shaman, not something that you see very often in the Ogre list. Basically Master Tomat with 4-up, Iron Fist and the Ligatong. And then he has an Adept Pyro with 3 spell and a Breast Weapon from Firebrand. Can BSB that was somehow a bit scary for Ogre with Great Weapon and Troll Eater, meaning he has multiple wound 2 against all my army, more or less. 2-up, 4-up, and Flaming Standard. So yeah, 2 heavy kitted character. But I think the fact that we both have Ligatong and the fact that I have a Great Can, he has a Can but with multi-wound, is more or less the same. So I think if you consider a combat between 2 Death Star, it will be up to who is getting the charge and the buffs and so on. 9 Bruisers, 2x3 Tribesmen, so 3 scoring unit only, which is quite small. Then double Tiger as Chaff, 1 Thunder Cannon, 1 Scratapult, and then triple monsters. Double Rock and a Slave Giant. So we don't see nowadays a lot of Rock in the list. So I was eager to see how he used them. I think it's, when I see this list, I obviously see a couple of possible fragilities around the fact that he has only BSB 12, Leadership 8, no Banner of Discipline, and 2 Frenzy model that are going to take 8 rerollable maximize Frenzy check quite often if I do well. But definitely the list has some potential, and if he gets the charge off, I mean between the Bruiser Star and the Rock, you can destroy pretty much everything. We were playing All the Ground and Encircle. Here's my spell selection, so I took max of close combat buffs. Basically that was also the interesting point of having a Rod of Battle, is the fact that I can basically take 1 more buff. Because if you take Magical Heirloom, then you have no Rod of Battle and you have access to no other spell. Maybe somehow Frenzy could help you by giving you battle focus, but it's not exactly the same. But yeah, it's the best way to get a ton of buffs. So I just took Swarm of Insect to annoy a little bit the Auroch and Giant. Then Break the Spirit, +1 toughness or +1 resilience or strength, sorry. Hereditary and Rod of Battle, and then I had Chilling. And my opponent took, I think here it took Cascading Fire and Pyroclastic Flow plus obviously a Fireball. And for Tomat, he got Wrath of God, Hereditary, Breast Weapon, and Smite. Pretty obvious. Matchup analysis. So I have to be careful with his Troll Eater BSB. If he gets in good condition, good fight, he can do some damage, especially if he's in a fight not against the unit of the Great Can with the Ligatong. I feel that despite the fact that he has some heavy range damage between the cannon and mostly the magic missiles, I still think I have an advantage of the range damage because my list is very good against monsters and he has 3 of them. Between the poison shot, the cannon, double crossbow, and then the swarm of insect, it's quite a lot of things that can scare these monsters. Obviously, I will try to frenzy bait Rock to reduce quickly the amount of threat that he has in his list, because yeah, like I said, he can do a lot of damage when he charge. I knew more or less, that it's all the ground. Most of the stuff is going to be in the center. The Rock cannot be that far from the center because I expect Death Star to be in the middle to score the secondary. So the Rock have to be within 12 to still be manageable somehow. So I knew more or less what to expect from him, and then I knew that it doesn't leave a lot of unit to protect the flank, because basically what he has on the flank is a Giant and then the 2 piece of 2 War Machine Chariot, which is not a lot to counter Yetis, for example. Frost Mammoth, Freezing Aura, not particularly needed, because basically his main units are going before me or going after me, sorry. For example, Bruiser Star, it's a great weapon, so we go either after or same time. And then Rock, it's mostly impact hit that hurts. So yeah, I wasn't too concerned about the position of the Frost in this game. He could be more free on the flank. My plan was to get an advantage on the flank and try to establish superiority against the Death Star to avoid the swingy close combat between both Death Star. Because, yeah, even if I get a good charge off with my Death Star against his Death Star and I get some buffs off, you never know. I mean, it's similar stats, a lot can happen, and really what I wanted to get was a combo charge to make sure that I destroy his Death Star. So to get either the Yeti plus my Death Star or Mercenary plus Yetis or something like that, to have really 2 against 1 and make sure that I destroy the unit, break him, and that's it. No risk, and that the fact that he has a Trollito BSB with multi-wound doesn't matter much if you get a combo charge. So the deployment. So PJ won the roll for side, so we got here forest here, an impassable here, a wall here, and then 2 hills. He won the roll for side. Obviously he took defender, so with the big center, and I got attacker in return, and then he gave me the side with the impassable, which makes totally sense. I would have done exactly the same if I won the roll for side, so makes sense for me. And then, obviously, I decided to drop for first turn. And I know this is kind of huge on all the ground. I like to start because you can gain some board control, gain some terrain. And despite the fact that I was quite far away from the center from the beginning because of my position as an attacker, I could quickly make some march and be close or closer to the center. So my deployment is Mercenaries with the BSB, Yetis vanguarding on the right, Tribesman, Bruiser, my Bruiser Star going somehow to the side a little bit to counter, to come from the side towards the center, to try to get Mercenaries in the middle to establish some control and then get some unit that can move and threaten the flank. That was a little bit the idea. I also like the fact that Mercenaries can use the wall maybe to gain distracting. Then if he goes with Bruiser against Mercenaries, I would go before him and then the rest would be annoyed by distracting, so I like that option. And also the fact that Mercenaries, by being here, can somehow also close what he can do to the side and shoot stuff. So I like this position for Mercenaries, and also the BSB being central. And yeah, obviously, like my coach used to say, it's all the ground, put your scoring in the center, so I have all 4 my scoring in the center. Then I decided to put Keen Eater on the table to gain max chaff on the table and not be like expecting him to come off, but you never know when he comes off. And I didn't consider the fact that threatening from behind was going to be decisive. I prefer to have an additional piece of chaff on the board. And then last but not least, my trapper start on the wall, put a token, then vanguard it forward with the idea of chaffing turn 1. His deployment. So he goes with the left flank with both War Machine, cannon hidden behind the hill, just with a pivot. It can be on the hill and then shoot to establish kind of superiority in the battle, cannon against cannon. And then he has double work here within BSB's range, obviously. Squatapult, dog, tribesman in the back, the Death Star behind the forest. So he uses well the forest to just try to diminish what I might do with my shooting. But then, unfortunately for him, it didn't thought about minimizing what I can do to the giant. And I think when overall, if you consider the rest of the deployment, basically the Mercenaries cannot hurt a lot of stuff without cover, or the rest is just out of range. So it's, yeah, I think it's slightly, it could have been out of 30 for Mercenaries just to make sure, okay, turn 1, it's minimize what you can do with Mercenaries. Basically you can shoot an Ogre behind the forest, and that's it. You cannot shoot freely without cover at a giant turn 1. So I think it could have done something slightly better, and also at the same time try to cover a bit more the right flank, maybe even exchanging both War Machine and Giant on the left, because Giant can counter somehow the Frosty, because Frosty against Giant is kind of swingy. I charge, I go before, but then he gets a lot of attack strength 7, so it's kind of swingy. So he could have maybe put the Giant this way and both War Machine on the right. I don't know, that would have been an option for me, because these 2 War Machine can block effectively the Yetis. Just make sure that I cannot go around somewhere and I have to be careful, because if I get 2d6 impacted, strength 6, strength 5, that can hurt the Yetis too much before they can strike. And both model, toughness 5, so I think if I were PJ, I would have exchanged both flank. Despite the fact that it's nice to hit the cannon behind the hill, I could have still used the hill to his advantage with Giant, just minimizing, getting some soft cover behind the hill, and then put both Chariot on the right to completely block the advance of the Yetis. Okay, let's move on to my turn 1. So I push with the Trapper, Chaff, Rock, and the Death Star, and at the same time creating a frenzy bait against this Rock, and basically being out of arc of the Chariot and the Giant. So only 3 units can charge me, 2 of them have to take frenzy. Perfect for me, and at the same time I trap the forest. So yeah, ideal case for the trappers. Then left side I push with my Frosty, also move forward with Keen Eater, and the Death Star also move max forward. I also prepare both small darts to be ready to chaff and score, because I know I might need some time to get what I want, meaning establish control of flank. And then my mercenaries go behind the wall, ready to shoot at the Giant. Yeti go out of arc on the right, but still I wanted to be careful that Giant cannot do what I want to do, meaning if he goes out of arc here and threaten my flank, and then my Yetis, they can still go around, but yeah, then I'm in a position where the Giant can just be annoying for me and can annoy my mercenary's position. So I didn't want him to move so freely, so I prefer to stay a bit more back. I could have gone more forward, a bit more back, but then yeah, in range of BSB, in control, blocking his move forward basically. In Magic Phase I got chilling off and nothing else, and then I did only 2 wounds, a bit disappointing with all my shots. I did only 2 wounds on the Giant. His turn 1, he failed Frenzy with Rock, so charge me. Got 1 wound from DT, and then yeah, that's it. The rest didn't charge, just moved slightly forward. On the left he pivoted the cannon to shoot at me, and on the right he just moved slightly forward with the Tribesman and decided to use the Giant as a bait, because he knew by being in this position that it's going to be complicated, because the Great Weapon Giant, I mean, he cannot go anymore into combat with Yetis with 5 wounds remaining. He could have minimized something, try to diminish what I could do, but still it's not so easy to fight when you lost wound with a Great Weapon Giant. So basically decide to move in the center and just bait me and tell me charge me, then I have stuff that can countercharge you in return. So interesting. In the Magic Phase he got Hereditary on this Rock. I got also the Breast Weapon in on the Giant, and he does with his cannon against my cannon 3 wounds. So not bad. The Breast Weapon won't do much against my scoring, like I don't know even if he did a wound. Rock kill my guys, and then he consider what he might do. So either he stay like that, but he cannot reform really well because of second Rock, meaning I get to charge with Death Star, get some good overrun, can chaff his Death Star, so it can be really a nightmare for him. So he just takes the overrun and puts something in my face just to, again, like the Giant, react to that, and then he has again some units that are ready to countercharge after. So I had to take time to see what I wanted to do. So I needed to consider the final position of these guys after killing most likely the Rock. So I just make sure that if he charge me, basically either we stick and then I can use the Rock to my advantage to make sure the Death Star cannot charge me, and then I'm fine. I can get countercharged by the Rock, but I should be okay. Obviously this would diminish completely the Bruiser, but I mean, even if he kills most of the Bruiser and they are not fit for combat after that, I still got 2 units that in a 2 against 1 against his Death Star should be okay. So I was fine. So I took the charge and I made sure that if he can charge me with his Death Star against me, because I had no way to chaff him because of the position of Giant and Rock. I had no way to go and chaff this unit. I just made sure that if he charged me, I can flee. And I can flee in a position where nothing can push me further, and I get to rally on a 9 rollable. Of course, this will slow me down, this will lose me for some turns, a very important scoring unit that can help me claim hold the ground, potentially make me lose or make a draw and hold the ground, for sure. But I need to deal with the Rock, and what well the alternative, if I don't charge him, yeah, I can charge and shoot, but I'm not sure at all to kill him. Most likely not. And then if he start to charge stuff in my lines, even if I charge properly, I still need to deal with him. So I found no other good solution than that. I think that was the best solution. So my Death Star charge him. I get a ton of attack because of my formation forward, plus the Great Khan, hitting on 2+. Despite the hereditary, I should be able to kill him. Then I put a unit of chaff here, just to make sure that I chaff the giant in case my mercenaries in short range are not able to kill him. You never know. And then I also didn't left space here just in case he make me flee, go through. No, he had some other intention. You never know what he might do. So I just made sure even if I fail the terror, nothing too bad could happen to me. Kinita didn't move much. Obviously I would have needed the Kinita more in the center. It was a bit too to the side, but yeah, that was too late. And then the Yetis here were able now to claim board space, go in the flank and threaten the Death Star. Forcing him to react, basically, or giving me chaff. On the left, the Frosty continued to move to the side, just out of arc of the chariot. Yeah, he has some cat here, but still it would be a very hard terror check, panic check for him to take. So I was feeling okay, and my other dog also was pretty much to the side, so I just take him with me, and at some point I might need him for chaff. What I like about the fact that the dog was far away from the center is the fact that I'm far away from cascading fire, because if I'm in the center here, yeah, every turn he might try to cast it to just kill my chaff. So I prefer the chaff alive, and it can be useful. If I can chaff one chariot, I can take the other one. Even if he charged me, I should be fine. So that was it. In the magic phase, what did I got off? I got Break the Spirit on his Death Star. That was pretty huge, got a nice roll. So I was happy because that meant most likely he won't charge me with both and take a ton of DTs on the forest, on open terrain. I mean, it's too many dice to roll on this Death Star. He might lose just too many models. So that meant most likely I won't need to flee with this unit, which was a good news. And that's the only spell that I got off. With all my shooting combined between the cannon and the mercenary shot, I was able to kill the giant, which is really nice. So the giant is dead. Close combat, I'm not... Yeah, I think I was able to finish the Rock and turn around. So he has so many attacks, despite the fact that he had hereditary off, I was fine. I mean, between the impact hits, a lot of attacks, I was able to kill him. I remember the Great Khan doing a nice performance against his Rock. So that was quite good, and then I just reformed to face him for potential charges. So his turn 2, he decided to go for it. He charged me, I passed my terror check 9 rollable. So he charged me Rock, it was a 5 swift stride, no problem. He got a long charge off on 9 swift stride with a Scratapple, which was slightly annoying, but I should be okay. Basically what was annoying is the fact that the Rock alone would be in the center, and if I kill him in one go, then I get some free reform and I can basically do a lot of damage after that. But yeah, Scratapple come together, and these 3 guys decide to charge my Yetis, which surprised me a little bit. On a 7, he passed the charge, and then he put his dog to chaff me, which worked well, because basically with the position, I wasn't sure he was able to achieve that, but he was able to achieve that. Even if I kill these guys, if he pass the panic check, basically I'm chaffed with my Yetis. I think this is not the best solution in my point of view, because basically what he wanted to do here is slow me down, because most likely the Yetis will just kill these guys. I go before him. So basically I'm going to murder him. He can do some damage to the Yetis, but not much. Most likely like 1, 2, 3 wounds maybe at best, which is not much in comparison to giving away a scoring unit and a chaff piece. So I think what he should have done is just basically give me the dog and keep the tribesmen here in the back, or even use them maybe to score, I don't know. But yeah, he could have just kept them in the back and just give me the dog, and maybe slightly turn around the Death Star just to make sure if I charge him, I'm forced to overrun, or I'm getting charged by the Death Star, I don't know. I think there was some better option here on the right side. And left side, he was pretty confident by the fact that the dog might hold, so he just put the dog in the front, not scary of the terror check. I was a bit surprised again, and the cannon stays here shooting again at my cannon. In the magic phase, so this time I use, let me check, I use my Binding Scroll on Smite the Unbeliever, because I knew here basically the risk is getting stuck too long, and second is losing Steadfast, which is unlikely because you need to kill 5 bruisers, which is 15 wounds. Yeah, he might roll really well and do a ton of damage, you never know, but most likely he shouldn't be able to do that, and I should be okay. So I just bind Smite the Unbeliever, and then he got Hereditary off, and I dispelled the Breast Weapon, kept all my dice for Breast Weapon because I didn't want him to increase the damage that he might do in this combat, which could be also scary. On the right, I kill all of them, I guess. He passes the check with the dog, and here I kill the Scratapult, and I did some wounds on the Rock. He killed like 4 of me, and we tied. I was still steadfast pretty comfortably, and we just tied the combat. So I'm now Reform, maximized against Rock. So I know that pretty soon Rock will be dead. I've taken already a lot of stuff, so I was feeling really good at this point of time. Obviously, my turn 3 after that. So I'm using my Bruiser unit to chaff his Death Star. I just needed slightly more time. I knew that some of my units are blocked at the moment, but next turn they should be free, and he has only 1 unit left that could potentially chaff me. So I will be able to get at least a 2 against 1 close combat, which was nice. So Yetis, they charge dog. I brought Kid Eater back. I moved forward with mercenaries within all the ground range, because last turn PJ took a first point of scenario, which wasn't good news for me. So I knew that I needed some scoring, and I most likely will lose that one. So at least I wanted one scoring here. So I moved these guys here in range. This leaves him with an 11 Swift Ride overrun onto me, but until then I will get some unit free to countercharge. I position Kineter here to look in the center, ready to countercharge, and then I just charge here with my Frosty. He failed the terror check on the 5. I failed my redirect check on the 8, so I was forced to pursue, and I catch him. So I catch him, ended up somewhere here, and I couldn't reform because I was too close to the cannon, so a bit odd situation. In the magic phase, I got +1 strength off to make sure that I'm going to be free and killing the Rock, that he doesn't do too much damage to me. So I was able to finish him off, which was nice. I did some wounds against the Bruiser, I guess, with some shots, but not much. Here I kill the dog and reform, and that's it. PJ's turn 3, he charges my dart, decide to use his tribesmen to slow me down and just take another point of the center, because 2 against 1, meaning it will be 2-0 for him after this turn. And the cannon just moves sideways to be ready to possibly countercharge, but I think he should have just take the chaff and just reform a little bit, because there is no nice target to shoot at since he killed my cannon. So I think what he should have done is just take the chaff, turn around, maybe look at the center to force me to put the Frost in the front, pass a march check, stuff like that. So yeah, he just charged me. Let's see what he did in the magic phase. In the magic phase, he got -1 strength on my mercenaries. I wasn't too worried because I had 3 units potentially ready to charge, so I was feeling okay, even with... I mean, I have so many plans. Even if he puts a lot of debuff against this unit, I can always just charge with the Yetis, do a lot of damage against them, just hold him in place for 2 turns, and then charge after with other units. So that was okay for me. So -1 strength on them. I dispel Hereditary. Obviously that was the priority because Hereditary has an impact on all these units. And then he got 2d6 strength 4, I think against the Yeti, but I'm not 100% sure. Maybe mercenaries. And he got the breast weapon strength 3, I guess, on the mage. In close combat, he didn't do much with his first attack because everybody is great weapon, so we strike same time, meaning I was able to kill like 1 bruiser, which was very nice. And then end of the turn, he takes a 2nd point off all the ground. And then he overrun. He decided, fuck it, let's go, overrun, roll a 12, so get into my mercenaries, but I wasn't too worried because I had so many countercharge. And yeah, things got worse for PJ because I'm able to get the charge with the bruiser and still getting an overrun onto the big combats, meaning I get triple countercharge off. So basically, Kineter goes here. Yetis, yeah, they got 2d6 strength 4 against them, so they lost a couple of casualties. They charge in the flank, And the Bruiser is just destroy tribesmen, overrun in the flank, and then that should be over. And here I just put my chaff again, put the Frosty ready to kill the cannon. And yeah, that was it. I got Break the Spirit off here, got the overrun with the Death Star, it was an auto break, and that was the end of the game. So yeah, PJ didn't roll well at the end. I remember the BSB didn't do much against mercenaries, the breast weapon didn't do much as well, so yeah, that was even strength 5 breast weapon, which is really nice. Strength 5 breast weapon, but I think he rolled like 3 hits. It was really poor. And then for me, yeah, just too many attacks coming in. I mean, between the Yetis and here 2 files of the Bruisers going at him, plus Keen Eater Hatred, plus all of these guys before him. That's just too many wounds that I did. So he broke off, obviously, and that was the end. So yeah, that's a 20-0 for me. Very fighty game. So that overall how it went for our team. So we got some 3 good wins between Andy, myself, and Dim, and then a couple of losses, especially a very swingy Warrior of the Dark God mirror match that is available on TT Facebook page if you want to have a look at it. Very interesting game between Willem, veteran TC player, and TT on the French Mercenary Facebook page, it's called. Basically check that out if you're interested, but very interesting game, very swingy, and at the end TT lost big, meaning we had to compensate, but we were able to compensate. We took another couple of small losses and a tie on Victor's table, meaning we won at the end 83, but a very close round against the Danish. Very interesting round for us. Post-game analysis for my game. So I think being able to start was key. Despite the fact that I was attacker, I had the bad side, so to say. To start on all the ground is often something that I like, because you can establish board control, go forward, and try to claim some board space early on. PJ tried to go for it, I think mostly due to the fact that I was going to hurt him badly with all my poison shot and the cannon against his big monster. I think he was forced to go for it, and also the fact that it's all the ground, so if you want to win scenario, you have to go forward and try to claim the center. I was okay. It was not best case to lose 2 turns of all the ground, was not really my best plan. I think I was okay because I knew that it was going to turn around quickly and that I could claim all the ground for the remaining 3 turns, which happened. But I think if I would have deployed at least the Keen Eater in the center, the Tiger we can debate because of Cascading Fire, but at least the Keen Eater in the center would have been nice, because I could have chaffed the Death Star with Keen Eater 1 turn and then save a scoring for later, and then maybe score or at least tie a round of all the ground early on and just be with -1 but not -2. Could have been slightly better. Overall, quite happy about my game plan. I dominate the flank, Frenzy Bait Rock like I wanted to, and then just chaff the Death Star and plan the safe combo charge to make sure that I kill the Death Star without taking too much risk. So I think that worked really well. Regarding PJ, a couple of points in my view. I think he could have used better the chaff. I pointed out the chaff against the Yetis. Also the fact that he had a dog on the left against the Frost, out of range of leadership, who did, it was hard to really count on that chaff to work. So I think using the dog in the center would have been better, especially the fact that I don't have many things to kill dogs who are hidden behind his unit. So he could have just used them to protect him a bit better against at least the Yetis, or maybe even at some point against my Death Star or mercenaries. Start of turn 2 was a decisive moment, definitely. And then, I think, like I pointed out again at some point, I think the right flank was given away too easily on PJ's side, and maybe could have switched off the 2 sides. I think with both Chariot on the right, it would have been much harder for me to attack with the Yetis the right flank. And then on the left, between Giant and Frosty, you can somehow get a situation where it's kind of hard to attack. I need to chaff, and then if I chaff, I need to have leadership, which is almost impossible. So I need the Keen Eater to chaff, and then get the Frost in a situation where I charge. And even by doing that, I'm not sure to kill him, and then maybe I get some 10 attack strength 7 in return, which is always scary. So I think matchup-wise, it would have been way better the other way around for him. And then basically by protecting or holding both flank, it's much harder for me to go, because if I don't get a situation where I've won a side, then it's harder for me to claim the center, I think. So yeah, very interesting game. Thanks a lot, PJ, for the game. Nice game against you. It was very cool to play against you again, because yeah, it's always great atmosphere around the table. So thanks a lot for the game. Thanks a lot, guys, for watching, and talk to you soon for the third battle report, which will be against Germany. Bye bye.